Hi, my name is Jack Teisinger, and I will be summarizing a chapter out of the book Working with Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. The chapter I chose to summarize is Chapter 8, titled The Arts of Influence. This chapter opens up by introducing a story about two companies merging. The point of the story goes much deeper than business, though. It is meant to depict how the employees of these two companies responded to what their boss had told them about the merger, and how it would affect the employees. The way these two department heads conveyed the message to their employees was vastly different, and as you read further into the story, you'll begin to understand how it affected the employees' reaction. The first department head gave a gloomy, even menacing speech. He informed the employees that he will have to fire roughly half of them. In the department head's speech, it was very clear that he wasn't prepared to hold this responsibility. Not only was he seemingly unprepared, he was also extremely demoralizing and indirect, two things that a leader should never be. He ended his speech by saying that he would be making his decisions based on their backgrounds and qualifications, which makes it appear to the workers that their fate has already been decided, and there is nothing left they can do to prove themselves worthy of staying with the company. The other department head began his speech in a completely different way. He incorporated optimism, referencing the exciting outlook the company had going into the merger. Not only was his tone filled with vibrant excitement, he also showed gratitude and appreciation for his workers, using words like talented to describe them as a group or as individuals. He ensured that no decisions had been made at the time of the speech and clarified that they would go through a fair process to determine who would continue working with them after the merger. Not only was the speech very motivating, it was also direct with how they would come to a conclusion based on the observations and research. Decisions would be made on quantitative examination from statistics such as objective performance data, along with qualitative abilities like teamwork. There was a clear sense of direction and purpose. Not only was the boss direct and fair, but he also explained that the decision process would be open to the employees so they would be informed of the progress throughout the week. This is a relieving gesture because it takes the anxiousness out of long wait times and also makes the decision making process come up as more objective. The second department head's speech was genuine and authentic. He was transparent with his planned decision making process, which made his employees more likely to trust him and follow his lead. It was discovered that the second group was much more productive throughout the process than the first, for many reasons. The second group was full of excitement for the potential opportunity they could have if given the chance to continue working with the company after the merger. And they also felt convinced that the decision making process would be fair, so there wouldn't be any suspicion of an unfair process. His ability to articulate a compelling vision and inspire his employees to work towards it allowed him to be successful in influencing others and creating a positive work environment. While the second group was full of excitement, the first group was completely unmotivated. The gloomy message from the department head spread throughout the workplace. There were discussions amongst that the process was unfair, and those feelings amplified into the thought that the employees were unsure if they even wanted to continue working for their current boss at all and gain a position for the merged companies. These two groups are almost certainly comparable in ability and skills, but the second group was much more productive because of the surrounding mood and positive effects it had on the group's outlook. Influence can be spread throughout many different ways, though, not just authority. Another example of influence is presented by using a study of mood, where three strangers were directed to sit quietly for a few minutes. It was discovered that the most expressive person in the group had the greatest influence on the others, thus setting the mood for the other participants. In every session they conducted, the same results continued to occur. There were a variety of emotions that the less expressive participants felt, such as happy, bored, anxious, or angry. These emotions were solely dependent on whichever emotion the most expressive person was conveying. The two were synchronized. This study shows that the emotions are contagious. In general, this chapter examines the critical role influence plays in the workplace or any other social setting. Goleman presents us with the idea that someone or something's influence has the ability to affect people and outcomes positively, and argues that it is a key aspect of emotional intelligence. He explores the different ways in which individuals can cultivate their ability to influence others. The examples showed that people with high emotional intelligence were able to persuade others, be authentic, and convey a clear sense of vision and purpose. By adapting to these methods and developing these skills, individuals can become more effective leaders and influencers throughout various social settings.